because the tires aren't usable. So you might have noticed that trash didn't necessarily get picked up. If the council approves the purchase of tires tonight, they should be able to get on, we hope, in the morning at some point, and trash operations resume tomorrow afternoon. We hope. Of course, that does depend on later on as we get into the session. Also, if everyone remembers seeing in the paper, the trash services should be starting October 1st. WCA is who will be picking up the trash. You'll see, and are they blue bins? Did we ever see what color they were, Jesse? The bins? Yeah, I'm waiting. Jesse, do we ever see the bins yet? Have we seen them yet? Are they blue?
They are, I don't know what color they are. I think they're blue. I have not seen them. They're supposed to be staged at the Brown Shoe Company. So that's what they'll be staged at.
So they'll get staged here soon, and we will, they'll get out, handed out to people, and transfer services should start that first October 1st. There is an ordinance that has to take place before that happens, but that's just a little bit of an announcement for you all.
You want to squish in over there? As far about making my back
Yesterday, it just barely went down.
Mayor,
Yesterday.
may I just ask one thing?
Yes,
You
go
said
ahead.
that you thought our trash would be picked up tomorrow?
We hope.
Well, but I thought there were just 4 tires coming tomorrow.
We're hoping that that will be taken care of in the morning, and then in the afternoon.
But I
they
thought
get
it
the
took
trash.
6 tires.
What happened to all the tires at once?
What's that? We know, well, we'll get into that in open session. There's an
Okay.
option to buy some tires, and with any luck, we'll be able to get it rolling with just the 4. I know there are several that are showing vans, but I don't know if all of them are showing the vans yet, so. All right, call to order. Roll call.
Mike Brown?
Present.
Paul Watson? Dave Tilges?
Present.
Donald Fleming?
Present.
Alan Timmons?
Here.
Marlene Blackburn?
Present.
Robert Thomas?
Present.
You have a quorum, sir.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, is anybody who would like to offer an invocation at this time? Here's the answer to the negative. We'll continue with our meeting.
Speak quick now.
Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'd like to make a motion to add something,
Okay, go ahead.
and that would be myself, and that is on the minutes of the meetings since April.
Okay.
And you say you're going to put me at the end. Is that right?
Any amendments that get added will go to the end of the agenda.
All right.
No. So there's a motion on the table. Are you seconding it, or
Second.
you second it?
Yeah, I told myself.
That's okay. What are we amending for? I need to know the purpose before I can rule on
Jesse,
something.
could you read back the amendment? Did you get it all? Betty, please restate your motion.
I am making a motion to add myself to the agenda for minutes of the meeting from April.
Madam Tilges request to be added to the agenda for the minutes for April.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, from April to now.
From April to present.
Right.
Can you read the motion again? Can you say it again?
Dave Tilges request to amend the agenda to read that she'd like to have the minutes from April 1st or the April and the present.
And I'd like to speak about that. That's what I'd like to speak about.
That's what you want.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is there a second? So,
I understand my bounds. You go ahead. You take it first.
Okay, I'll say this.
okay, so it's been seconded. Roll call vote.
Paul Watson,
Yes.
Betty Joseph,
Yes.
Donald Fleming,
Yes.
Ron Timmons,
Yes.
Marlene Blackburn,
Yes.
Robert Thomas.
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Okay,
I want to make a motion to amend the budget to allow
amend the budget or the agenda?
the agenda,
Okay,
Ms. Hartwell there from the electric company to speak to the council.
okay, so there's another
And I'll second the motion.
motion on the table. Jesse, could you read back what the motion is, please?
Paul Watson requests the budget be amended so Mrs. Harwell can address the council, electric company.
Do you want to, can you clarify your motion, please, Paul?
Well, agenda to let Ms. Hartwell speak to the council. Jesse just read it back and also said the budget.
Right, I'm just, so you clarify, and then then I'll ask him to read it back, and then that way it should be clearly
Okay,
stated.
you want to make a motion to make a motion to amend the agenda to allow Ms. Hartwell from the electric company to talk to the council.
Okay,
Paul Watson requests, the agenda be amended so Mrs. Harwell can address the, council.
And I seconded the motion.
Okay.
all right, there's a motion on the table, it's been seconded, roll call vote.
Paul Watson,
Yes?
Betty Joseph.
Yes.
Donald Fleming,
Yes.
Ron Timmons,
Yes.
Marlene Blackburn,
Yes.
Robert Thomas.
Yes.
Motion to approve 6-0.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the rest of the agenda?
I'll make a motion to adopt the rest of the agenda.
Okay, Jesse?
Marlene Blackburn requests a motion to adopt the agenda.
Is there a second to this
I'll
motion?
second it.
It's been seconded, roll call vote.
Paul Watson,
No.
Betty Joseph,
I did not understand that.
Yes.
I can explain.
Donald Fleming,
Yes.
Ron Timmons. Ron Timmons,
Yes.
Marlene Blackburn,
Yes.
Robert Thomas.
Yes.
That's 5-1, sir.
Passes. We're moving on with the agenda. Time for discussion should take place prior to something being said. All right, so new business, there are 3 new licenses for city. And let me share some information with you all. This is Ordinance 179. This is an ordinance of the City of Dixon, Missouri, repealing Ordinance 112 and enacting in lieu thereof a new ordinance providing for business licenses and the conduct of the business within the city. I'm the only one that has a copy of this ordinance. This ordinance basically outlines the amount of license fees and some information about licenses. Section 3 is particularly important to us tonight, and I'm just going to read all of Section 3. It says, "The city license shall be issued, and the fee, therefore, on said business and occupation shall be on an annual, weekly, or daily basis, provided that all city licenses may be issued, and fees collected, therefore, each 6 months, except that all city licenses issued for the sale of intoxicating liquor, beer, including 3.2% beer, shall be issued for a term of 1 year from the date of issue, and a full annual fee collected, therefore, at the time of the issuance of the said city license. And except where this ordinance provides for license to be issued on a daily basis, and that shall be collected daily. On businesses and occupations where licenses is issued for 6 months instead of annually, the license shall run from January 1st to and including June 30th, from July 1st to and including December 31st of each year, providing that where a license is applied for and by a party not already licensed and not in arrears, and the payment of any city license between the aforesaid dates, then the city license shall be issued to an applicant airing on June 30th or December 31st of that year, and the proportionate fee collected thereof. All city licenses shall be issued for the real property or parties in interest. And then the other ordinance that we have
Mayor,
that is important to this, yes.
may I say something? For the people that have been working and have not applied for the license beforehand, like there are many that have been working and have not even applied, and some are working and just now applying for city license. What do we do about that? Nothing?
Well, we
Just
would
from the
ask,
time that
we would
they,
ask that everybody who doesn't have a license working in the city apply and obtain a license. So let me finish this ordinance and then we can move into discussion. Ordinance 236, this is a comprehensive license ordinance for the city of Dixon, Missouri. This should have acted as replacing, but it needs some work. Section 5 specifically, this is of importance to us. The city collector shall annually, at a regular February meeting of the Board of Aldermen, make a full report to the Board of Aldermen, and account for it, all fees received by him from licenses as well as such other matters touching licenses as the Board of Aldermen may from time to time require, and produce a treasurer's receipt for money paid to the treasurer by him. Section 8, all licenses issued under this chapter are revocable at any time by the Board of Aldermen upon satisfactory proof that the licensee has violated any provisions of this code or other ordinances of the city, or any of the federal or state statutes relating to the business or acts done under such license, or that the licensee has been misrepresenting his goods and services or offered for sale in the city, or has been practicing any fraud on the public, or has been selling as food for animals or human beings any unwholesome or unfit substance, or shall conduct a business not covered by his license, or has been conducting any place of business dangerous to public health or safety or detrimental to public morals. If any license be terminated by revocation, death of licensee, or other cause, all fees or taxes paid to the city shall therefore be forfeited to the use of the city. No person whose license shall be forfeited, no person whose license has been revoked by the Board of Aldermen shall be entitled to engage in the business or the acts for which such license was issued in the city unless the Board of Aldermen for good cause shown remove such disqualification. All right, Betty, you asked a great question. And that is, what about people who don't have licenses? So, and I think that's an excellent point of discussion. Would you like to go ahead and lead that discussion at this time?
and also that have been working without, that are just now going to apply for a license, or people that have never applied that are working, whether it be mowing or handyman, whatever. What, do we do nothing about the ones that have been doing this for a very long time?
Well,
or
Section
just
1
go
of this
ahead and it
ordinance.
starts?
Section 1 of this ordinance says, no person shall pursue, conduct, carry on, operate, engage, or deal in, or offer to pursue, conduct, carry on, operate, engage in, or deal in, or hold himself out to the public as pursuing, conducting, carrying on, operating, engaging in, or dealing in, within the city, any of the trades, callings, professions, occupations, privileges, vocations, things, objects, subjects, businesses, or places of business mentioned in this chapter without first paying the license tax thereof, operating the license thereof, therefore.
Okay, and
There
then
is an
where-
ordinance violation that could be prosecuted under it if it came before.
And then there are licenses that have not been paid, right? Jesse, am I right on that? We still have unpaid, or that have never paid for a license that's doing business right now?
This would probably be a more appropriate question for the collector.
This is what I don't understand. On previous council, Paula had to come before the council to get permission to send letters to the people that hadn't paid their business license, and y'all had a fit.
Yeah.
So why are we,
Well,
why?
she did send them. And
She
then
might
she
have
did
sent them,
send
but
them.
everybody jumped down her throat.
Doesn't matter, that's the
It
past.
does matter,
Please
because
keep order, please keep order. All right,
That's the past, and now we have to go to the future.
all right,
We're talking about now.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
all right, we have a question.
This is more directed towards the attorney. If the city issues a license, isn't it state requirement that these people show liability insurance, et cetera? Because you can have a license, is there gonna be any repercussions or any liability on the city because we've issued a license to these people and they're not insured? No, there won't be any? Because I thought it was a requirement of the state that you had to have a certain amount of insurance in order to operate.
For them.
Okay, so it wouldn't be any liability on you. Because I'm thinking if we're issuing the business license, are we not having to meet the state standards with that also?
our state doesn't have a lot of standards for a lot of businesses. We're one of the few states where you don't have to have a license to be a plumber, you don't have to have a license to be an electrician.
That's true.
I apparently have a license to practice law, but I mean, a lot of professions and vocations in the state of Missouri simply don't require it. My office is right next door to a barber shop, and they get inspected more than anybody I know, but we don't do that for plumbers or electricians. Seems absurd to me, and I'm not a big fan of regulation myself, but the short of it, and the reason I provided the mayor with these ordinances, because I saw this was on the agenda and was surprised it was on the agenda, was because our ordinances for some things simply don't make sense and are outdated. Probably goes back to recodification needing to become a priority soon for this board when the finances allow it. The way I interpret these two ordinances relating to our businesses is the first one, ordinance one, I don't remember the numbers off the head.
179.
179 basically stated that shall issue. And then the one that tried to repeal that but didn't entirely because it only repealed those which conflicted with it states that the licenses have to be issued with the board's approval, but it does not set any type of standard for you to apply as a board, which leads you guys into the danger of randomly applying these however you want in an unfair manner without the process of people who are applying. But it does give you a specific standard for revoking these licenses. My interpretation, to be honest, is that it's still a shall issue if they've applied and paid the money.
Now, looking at these, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, but it would also appear that there doesn't seem to be any type of recourse.
There isn't a separate ordinance that I did not bring with me for those who have not.
And that's what would need to be applied in the event.
Operating a business without it,
And
they
we
can be
did-
prosecuted in the municipal
Right.
court for an ordinance violation.
And we did send everyone letters, and they did, some came in and updated, paid back taxes, am I correct?
Some did.
Some did, but some did not get their license, correct? They're still on the
I'll have
books.
to, once again, that'd be a question to the collector. I'm not, too familiar on who has and who has not got a license already, who has even paid.
And I know we have a new collector since the last report was required, right?
That is
Our
correct.
current collector was hired after February, and the last report should have been made to the board. And I don't, that was
So-
after me too, so I don't know if that report was made in February.
There was a report made in February, who, Mincer, which was the collector at the time, did come, and I don't know, some of the councils this year, but she did come and, present herself for the board on the license and stuff like that.
So
then
I'd like to
who's
reel this all back
responsible-
in.
Who's responsible for someone that doesn't have a license, refuses to get one, and they're still working within the city? Who's responsible for enforcing this ordinance? Would it be the police department or the city collector? Who would it be?
That's an excellent question. I want to reel us back in though, because this is really about, this was all a precursor to going into these new licenses. And I think that we will stick to the agenda at this point, and at a later date, probably the next agenda, we'll be prepared to go into responsibilities. If the city needs to put out something in the paper, send out letters again, we'll re-engage at the next time, I think, going into, I'll put that on the agenda, as far as enforcement of licenses and such. So, but at this point, if I could ask everyone to please turn to these licenses. And remember, this is a shall issue. This is a shall issue. So, you have these three licenses. Ray Handyman Service. CR Distributing. And Somewhere in Time Antiques and Eatery.
Is that a restaurant going in there?
I hope so.
Yeah,
I heard that it's,
Yeah,
sweets and music,
it's like a
very good food.
cafe type of thing, she said. One side's gonna be like she said, you know, sweets and things like that, and the other side's gonna be collectible antiques. It's going into the Java building.
The Java building?
Yeah.
To the Java building?
Yeah.
No, we're talking about two different things then. They haven't applied yet, have they? The Java? This is for the one next to the library, right?
Java has
Not the
not.
library, I'm sorry. Next to the
Hardware.
lumber company.
Oh, the one you used
Oh,
to use simply.
My bad, I'm sorry. That, because there's somebody else anyway who's gonna be applying. Never mind.
They haven't applied yet.
Okay, well, you'll like it when they do. She's a nice young lady. She brought it, she's local, she is. Local. Wow.
I will mention that I was reading in a journal of statistics the other day that there's a linear relationship between the increased amount of residents and amount of businesses. And for every 22 residents that move into a city, the business is increased by 1. So
That's cool.
Good job.
it was, I mean,
That's
that's
encouraging.
someone else's study, but this is encouraging to see these licenses. At this time, would anyone like to make, remember this is a shall issue, is there anyone at this time that would like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion.
Can you please state your motion clearly so that the...
Sure. I would like to make a motion to give Greg Lee,
Let's state the business name if we can, so that way it's in the minutes clearly.
it is Greg's Handyman Service. And CNR Distributing. You need the name?
That is,
No.
it just means of businesses.
Somewhere in Time Antiques in Erie.
Okay, what's your motion?
Yes.
Okay, Dave Coach made a motion to, have, 3 licenses, Great Handyman Service, CR Distributing, and Somewhere in Time, Antique, Entries.
Somewhere in Time Antiques and Eatery. Is that the motion?
Yes.
Okay, is there a
Eatery.
second? Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second.
It's been seconded, roll call vote.
Paul Watson,
Yes.
Dave Joseph,
Yes.
Don Fleming,
Yes.
Brown Timmons,
Yes.
Molly Blackburn,
Yes.
Mark Thomas.
Yes.
All 3 licenses approved, 6-0.
All right. Moving on our agenda to phone for New City Hall. There are some options for us. Do I have all the phone bills here, Jesse?
Send it to you. Bring it with me.
So there are, as many of you, I'm just going to have to pull this up. Currently, our phone service is through Windstream, and it is costing us quite a bit. So we have some options that we'd like to present to the council. So going into, first, I will let you know that there is a phone in City Hall. There's one at the shed, there's one at the library, there's one at the treatment plant, and there's one in the city PD. We currently owe, for the phone in City Hall, $1,415.37. For the phone at the shed, $266.78. For the phone here at the library, $701.85. For the treatment plant, $400.24. And for the city PD, $735.10. That's what we currently owe. These are all pay immediately. They are due, current charges are due the 2nd, and I imagine that's when we'd be cut off if we don't take care of this. Now, go ahead.
Has the library been cut off? Because I had some calls about it today.
what was mentioned to me is that the employees are no longer able to make phone calls going out on the phones.
I tried to call in myself and couldn't get through.
And it may, some of them may be shut off.
It's been cut off for a long time.
Go ahead.
It's been cut off for a while.
Okay, so it has been cut
Before,
off for a
yeah.
while.
I thought that's what somebody wanted, right?
Are there any questions on what we owe for phone bills at this time?
Are these bills in arrears?
Yes.
How many months, do you know?
It's about three.
About three, yeah.
I mean, the $270 on the mayor sent me, well, Jesse sent us the bills, and I reviewed them today, because we got some bids in, and I was just looking at the contracts. The one that shocked me the most was the one down at the shed, paying $90 a month. And these are those good old style phone bills, you remember when you get in every phone call that was made on each line, you can see the print. There were 5 phone calls made all on the same day at the shed for a total of 4.9 minutes of calls. That's $90 a month for 4.9 minutes. I don't know, I was kind of hoping Josh would be here, so we asked him for those, assuming that's the maintenance shed. If you really need $90 a month to make 4.9 minutes worth of phone calls.
Well, don't they have internet connections hooked up to those lane lines?
At the shed.
Yeah. Oh, Ernie, go ahead.
As far as, I haven't used the phone at the treatment plant for over 2 years. So, we actually don't need it, but I do need the internet. So, I don't know exactly how that's
Does the
hooked up.
internet reach down there to Wi-Fi? Let us know, it's too low. So that one has to remain a landline. Okay, we have some options. Here we have Jive. It's a proposal for voice services. And it looks like for 6 lines, well, these lines are about $39.95 a piece, but they'll give us a discount of $16, which brings it to $22.95. I believe this is does everybody have one of these, or I'll pass them?
No,
Okay, I believe this is a VoIP option, voice over IP. So basically, this would make our monthly total $165.99. We'll start down there. Can you pass that down?
But that's just the $500 month overpay for City Hall.
Can we get
Yeah.
service on this?
Yes, anywhere where we have internet. This one, we have another quote. It's a 8x8 business phone service proposal. Monthly cost would be, oh, this is for 6 lines, $163.80. And here's the, this one is Ring Central, which I haven't seen good reviews.
I understand.
Now, just real quick, before, when you all look at these quotes, realize that some of them offer what's called Office Essentials. That's not something we have to take. That is not what we're looking at here. Office Essentials is basically the employees would have access to Office. There's a repository. There's it's encrypted. It allows basically everything we do to be logged. So we meet with compliance, that kind of stuff. So when you see Office Essentials, that's actually something that's in addition that they just say, hey, we have this also. A lot of organizations have moved to it for compliance reasons, as we need to keep track of what we're doing, and that's kind of what this does. But on these quotes that we're specifically looking at this time is just the phones, just the phone service, not the Office Essentials. Are there any questions about that? This is Ring Central, and they quoted the Office Essentials with it. And Digital Line Unlimited for $288. Plus they have the phones for $109. In reviewing it, I was not impressed with Ring Central, personally. Uma Office Business Class Phone System. 6 phones for $120 monthly, and the first month is free. There is a one-time fee, however, of $300, and that's for the 6 Yay Link phones. I've never used a Yay Link phone, but they sound fun. And this is what they look like, and that is pretty, I don't know if that's too small for the crowd to see.
No, we can see it.
But that's a pretty nifty phone right there. I mean, using this phone, you would feel more professional.
Has gadgets.
Pass this one down. And this intermediate, this is the one that I like the best. They offered the exchange and the compliance that I was talking about earlier for just $509, which is pretty good, something to look at in the future. But their phones were $30 a line. They provide the phone, you can cancel any time. And if we had a Costco membership, which I think we do, we don't have a Costco membership. But if we had a Costco membership, they'd be $24. Yes,
Sir, are all these plans voice over IP?
these are all voice over IP.
Just for new city hall, that's new.
Non-police, correct? Okay, because I was gonna say, we have internet problems, so that would be an issue.
We're talking about City Hall, the shed.
They're planning on moving to city hall in October.
Correct.
CenturyLink's probably not gonna come out, they're just all move all the phone lines for them with the outstanding bills, I think what boils down to. That's right.
That's correct. The council needs to consider though paying, I would say the council needs to consider a VoIP option for everywhere but the PD, and then for the PD, consider paying the bill, which is $735.10, so that way people can continue to make calls into dispatch.
Mr. Mayor, do these bills include internet connection and fax and everything with it, or?
These quotes, yes, these
No, I'm
quotes,
talking about our existing
Our
bills.
existing bill.
yes, they include everything that was
Now, let
included.
me ask you a question,
Yes.
if you're gonna get rid of Windstream as far as your line carrier, are you gonna keep them as the internet carrier? Because I'm under the impression they're the only ones in the neighborhood that will give the internet.
No, it's not.
Our internet's not win.
No, it's not?
Splash out of Rich.
There's a
We
couple.
have,
Splash.
we have a deal with
Splash
Splash.
Wireless, that's what I was.
Flash wireless.
We have a deal with Splash Wireless,
Yeah, I
and they
have
provide
Splash
us the
Wireless too,
internet.
yeah.
Okay.
What?
You both get me to say that. I didn't say nothing.
The intermediate that was my preference has a 5.9 SLA, which is pretty good uptime. I mean, that equates to they would be down no more than 5 minutes out of an entire year. 5.9 is about the best.
That's
you
good.
It's the best you can get in the industry. It does depend on the internet connection, but if we have a landline with Windstream into the PD, they'll always have their emergency services up as long as there's telephone lines. And then if everywhere else has a void, I mean, unless Splash goes down, but we'd always have and then hopefully what we'll do with this sometime in the future is go back and look at those cell phone plans so that you have emergency contact, you're able to contact myself, the clerk, the PD, the maintenance supervisor. So in an emergency situation, you'd want to use that FirstNet stuff anyways. So I think in the long-term solution, probably this would be the best for the city. It's much cheaper when you're looking at $30 a line on some of these, 30 to 39. It's a lot cheaper than what we're paying with Windstream.
I don't like Windstream anyway, every month and my bill goes up $1 for whoever knows what the hell.
Well, I will only talk about it from a business sense in that
Well,
it's probably in the city's best interest to...
my house is a business. If I don't run it like a business, I'm going under.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you for the comment, thank you. Questions or discussion at this point? Would anybody like to make a motion to move to a VoIP solution for the shed, the library, the new city hall? Would anyone like to make a motion to pay the PD phone line?
We'll have to pay the PD, but we can't afford to pay all this other and pay
No.
Windstream.
We probably do not have, we probably won't make payroll if we pay it all. That's,
We've got to start paying the other.
oh yes, Gary.
What would be the plan for when internet is down? I mean, if people aren't able to contact City Hall, et cetera, you're gonna, it'll be a nightmare.
That's,
Because our internet is down sometimes 1-2 times a week.
dispatch will have to come in and handle that. And then hopefully we've moved to a solution where, because the phones are gonna get cut off anyways. So if we don't find a solution to either, one, pay the bills, which I don't think the money's there, or two, find something that's significantly cheaper, it's gonna be gone anyways. And if we maintain one line, one hard line into the dispatch, dispatch would have to also handle emergencies or calls when it goes down. And hopefully soon we would move into the cell phones that we talked about. If anyone remembers, they were only $50 a line, unlimited, a month. And with that, they would be able to reach, in an emergency, dispatch could reach out to the clerk, they could reach out to any of the PD, they could reach out to the maintenance supervisor. So there would be a system. There's not a perfect answer at this moment. We have outstanding bills. My guess is by the second, if we don't do something, the phones will be cut off. And my suggestion is that we maintain the line to the PD, to dispatch, and move to VoIP for everywhere else where it's only $30 a line. Much more affordable going forward. And then as soon as possible, get a hold of the FirstNet cell phones. And the FirstNet are important because if the cell tower is busy, the FirstNet still have the capability to be reached and to make phone calls. And so that's my recommendation going
Is it
forward.
kind of a priority?
Yes. Diane?
What insight do you have on having these bills paid off?
I think it's going to be a while.
Is there any way you can negotiate and make like installments on it or something and at least keep us up and running somehow? Or are we beyond that point?
Even making, I don't know that we can even make installments at this point. We are currently waiting on the solution with our water. We have, I'll remind everybody that we did find out that a couple years ago, the incorrect meters were installed. They were 5/8 registers, and instead they should have been, I believe it was 54s. I was recently at an MML conference, and they had, at this expo, they had several engineers there who were involved in these water meter companies. And they had the actual meters on the table. And they were able to take them apart. It's really interesting, the way the water meters work, it's like this big bulb. The water meter sits on top of it. There's not this a spin dial or anything like that. It uses magnetic resonance to read the water. And when you have the wrong meter, it can't read the full volume of what's going through. It can only read part of the volume. And that's why you need the proper meter for whatever you have, so that it can read all the water going through. And every single person I talked to reflected that, yes, if you have these 5A registers on there, and you got 2-inch lines, you're probably missing about 12/13 of accuracy. That's what all of them said. Now, I did talk to, the vice president of Badger said that they'd come out, they'd have their math person come out, do actual calculations to see how much water we lost, but they all had their lookup tables, and they all reflected the same thing. So hopefully that as this gets fixed, we'll have the revenue and the resources to be able to take care of all of these bills that we owe.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is this applicable to residential as well as commercial, or just commercial?
As far as we can tell, it's mostly applicable to commercial. The residential ones, we deal with the residentials as they get older, they don't read as well. But the amount that you're losing with residentials, this is what they told me, is not near what we're losing with commercial and the wrong meter. Yes, sir.
Does that mean the water bills are gonna be going up?
Well, we only had enough to be able to fix 7 of the commercial entities.
How many are
5
left?
of them have been installed. 2 of them are set to be installed this weekend.
So how much money did we lose total in the last couple of years?
It was, this isn't my math, but in conversations with the various organizations that sell these water meters, they said, yeah, about 1.5 million sounds about right over the last 3 years. Because you're missing out on about 12/13 of what should be read in the water. Now, I'm not a water scientist, but I've asked that their tech comes out and verify. I would like to know exactly how much water we lost to a close approximation, because it is water, and they call it water math for a reason. I guess there's some play in it. I don't know, it's not 100% exact, it's an estimate. So I've asked for them to come out and give us maybe some more knowledge. But the fact remains, there was a problem in the accuracy of our reading. We weren't capturing all the water being used.
I was wondering, the person in charge of that who installed those meters, were they probably trained with schooling, trained when we hired them?
I don't know, I believe I was in Afghanistan at the time. So
Sorry, who was there?
that may be
who
a
hired them?
question for past councils. I mean, I don't know.
I was just wondering what their, credentials were.
I don't know if anybody sitting here would like to comment on that or not, but.
If it wasn't
I
Dennis
don't know.
Lackowitz, I'm gonna say no.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the answer.
He actually
If it
has
wasn't
a
Dennis
license,
Lackowitz,
just
he
so
did
you
not
know.
install it.
Okay,
He does
so
have
is
a
there anybody, would anyone like to make a motion as far as moving to void or? No? Okay.
You know, my only comment regarding these is I saw some of the bids and they're not full contracts, so I mean,
I know with Intermedia, that's who I talked to.
I know some of
it
these require 2-year contracts, commitments and things like that, and I don't know that the details are set forth in these bids. One of my concerns, because I know, the city needs to do something, that phone line's a new city hall, you're never moving. I mean, so,
Intermedia was, they said you could start and stop at any time. There was no contract or anything like that. I know that for sure. We have the quotes. I don't know where they floated all down to.
Yeah, I think we get over here,
They should be at the end.
2 or 3, 4, whatever what you have, there's no contract.
there's no contract.
Would anyone like to make a motion at this time? Move to void?
I don't know, they're requesting to see copies of what we have there.
Oh, the correct, anyone like to, everyone has, people had a chance to look at this. Would anyone like to see this?
So, but we are pretty close to solving the commercial water
There's been five installed.
Right.
I was told there was 90 accounts, but the largest 7 are the ones that we decided to go ahead and change now.
Right.
And then as time goes on, the council needs to weigh cost versus benefit.
Right.
And some of those may not need, some of them they may be 1-inch lines and not need a new. Gary?
I'm sure there's a cost for each line that's in the city hall now. Are we going to reduce those lines? Because I believe there's
think
two
so. I
two
would think
lines
we'd
in the
only
city
need
hall.
one
There's a
for-
court clerk line. We have an emergency line and 2 non-emergency lines, which could be reduced down.
But you're separate, your bill's separate, those are just yours, right?
I believe so.
Right.
So we're just talking about.
I have 3 lines into mine.
You include
but-
911 or 911 plus 3?
We have an emergency line and 2. But what I'm saying is, if they're gonna move,
Yeah.
we don't need the court clerk line. We don't
Right.
need the 2 city hall lines.
Yeah.
Those are all the ones.
Those
that
are
gonna
things
move.
that we could do away with to reduce this bill.
That's what we're asking.
Did I understand the police department wasn't involved in this new contract? They were gonna stay where they were anyway.
They would remain with a part.
Right.
Now I don't, do you have one for the jail, correct? There's a line for anyone in the jail to use?
Yes.
Is there any reason why that couldn't go to a void?
Couldn't tell you. I'm not a phone technician. I can tell you, the system we have now is very 1940s.
Not surprising.
There are 3 jail cells and it's a party line. So if you're in cell 1 and you want to talk to cell 3's girlfriend, you can do so.
Oh, well, we want
So I
them
mean,
happy.
You know, like the
any
Miller County
upgrade would
jail,
probably be pretty good.
You know, like the Miller County jail where they charge $18 a minute to inmates?
gosh.
Well, and they do make money off that, but
So let's bring this
Do we
back
make
in. Would
money
anyone
off
like to
ours?
make a motion or
that's
to
where I'm
either
mistaken.
table
We
this
should with the
or
phone
to go over to voice over internet?
I'm working on a date.
Are you for sure that the one is not contractual?
what they told me. Intermediate told me that it is not contract, it's month to month, that's what they told me on the phone.
And the fee for that was monthly fee?
$30 per line, plus taxes.
Is there any way that we can put this off until the next meeting?
Well,
Have
if,
time to look at all this?
if it gets put off
Well,
and the phones get cut,
Here's the thing, yeah, then we
have
don't have
nothing.
anything. But if this is non-contractual, I
well,
mean, if we don't like the service, we can stop it at any
Exactly.
time.
and if the council wanted, they could make, the motion could be to go for the best service without a contract. And then we could sort through it to see at the end of the day where we're at, because it sounds like it's out between $30 and $40 per line.
Is there a setup fee?
That and City Hall's looking to move in the next 2
It
weeks.
was mentioned to me from Intermedia, and that's the only one that I talked to. Intermedia said there would be a $3 fee to keep the number, a one-time fee to keep the number.
Where's
hold the
City
line
Hall
for the
moving?
people.
How many published phone numbers are you talking about? Did you put, I know the City Hall's 6115, and then there's the collector.
There's only two numbers that we really need over City Hall. We need the work clerk, that number needs to be separate from ours, and we need the City Hall number, that is it, two numbers coming in. Actually, three, I need one for taxi.
I make a motion.
You wanna shoot lines of who's affected and everything? Is the shed, is the City Hall?
Okay, so it would be the city hall,
Okay.
it would be the library,
Uh-huh.
it would be the shed, and the treatment plant.
Okay.
PD,
Jail?
the jail.
Okay.
So that's 5. So what's the other one? So should
Court
be
clerk.
another-
Court
Oh,
clerk for the 6.
yes, court clerk.
Okay.
So I make a motion for 6 lines for that,
6 lines off of what? Carrier.
off of this
Do you wanna direct us to pick the best?
best carrier that we can out of this that's not going to run a contract
Okay,
as of right now.
okay, okay.
But that's kind of overly broad.
Can't do that.
That,
You can't do that. You've got it. Okay, Robert.
Well,
Sorry.
Well, I think council can go broad, can they not, Jeff?
Well, Rob had spelled out, he give you parameters on how to select.
That's,
But I mean, I think, there's a motion on the table, and I'm just gonna interject to say that you mentioned the shed. My question, and I'm not on the council, my question is,
Does the
does the
shed
shed
even need
even
one?
need a
Shed even
phone?
need one.
We've got Ernie saying, and I just pulled up the bill after he mentioned he hasn't used that phone
So
down
you
there in 2
haven't
years.
used the treatment
There
plant
was
at
one
all?
2-minute phone call made out of it last month too, so I mean,
So,
the only thing they need is
they need the
internet.
internet though, but I mean, so part of your motion was put a new phone in the shed, so we're not even using the one we've got now.
okay, so then take the treatment plant off, then the shed off. So I amend my motion to, for City Hall, the library, PD. Right?
jail.
I'm jail, sorry. Jail,
I
library.
wouldn't do jail personally. Until we do some research on how to do it, because that would be
You
3
charge the
separate
inmates
lines
for
in
time,
itself.
What's that?
Are you charging the inmates for their time on the phone? You don't have a system like that down there?
No, sir.
No? Wow.
That's way before me. I'm telling you, it's very 1940s.
Okay, real quick.
If there's an emergency down there,
They can only make collect calls.
how are they gonna contact
Emergency down where?
down at the water plant, or the sewage plant, how are they gonna call for help?
Cell phone.
Well, and then,
And that's where we need to move to the cell phones later.
So whoever is working down there will always have a cell phone then?
That was my recommendation.
Personal phone.
Shoot, 6-year-olds have cell phones, I don't see there's a problem.
Or something.
you guys want to-
I don't know, I mean, the lines, Jesse, can you read back the motion, please?
I'd like to first clarify on how many phones we're going to have, because right now I got City Hall and Library, we cross the jail out.
Okay, the motion's been withdrawn.
Until we clarify, he wants what?
well,
Yeah, something nice, may I get something like it says, non-contractual, they should have been given.
Can I see the,
well, and that's what I worry about. It's like when I call DirecTV and they come come out, put my
Can I
satellite.
see the
dish in.
phone
They
things
don't
again?
mention a contract, but they sure have you sign a whole lot of paperwork as soon as they're down on your roof.
Yeah.
Well, that can be put into the motion. The motion can include that no contract is made. And I'll just remind everybody that, I'll just, okay, I just remind everybody that the phone line's good at, I mean, there's money owed.
Well, maybe at this point,
If someone would like to table this, we can move on.
maybe not table it till the next meeting, but table it till y'all get to the bill section of your agenda tonight and see where you're at with the phones. I mean,
It's a good idea.
they're pretty, I mean, I looked through them today, you're 3 months behind on all these phones.
Can I make a suggestion on?
Yes.
On the fax lines, instead of having one designated, which is another cost, why not just take, like, for an example, if you're gonna have City Hall and the court clerk, why not take the court clerk's line and use that as a fax, because I'm sure she doesn't use it as much as City Hall.
So
Until
just,
you guys get on your feet, you gotta cut corners.
yeah. So just so everyone knows, okay, so this one says no, right here, it says no contract, month to month, no hidden fees. This one is a no contract. This one is OMA office. And just so everyone knows, they include, you can fax with these. You don't have to have a separate line to fax with. No, I don't.
For some reason.
I know, I have it all here.
Fax.
I'm just looking back through this.
Instead of fax. This is the line right here. But I think it's right, they told me to get a hard copy of the receipt.
I don't know.
That is harder than you can't just.
Can we have a little order?
But I got some.
That's why I don't know how.
Order, please, order. A little bit order, please. Okay.
I mean, I agree. You guys gotta cut some corners somewhere. And 5, 6 lines, I'm counting the number of full-time employees that are gonna be in there on a daily basis. I mean,
Hold on, Jeff, just one second, No, go ahead.
6. Just 2 lines coming in, 6 lines.
Okay, Jeff, go ahead.
well, I'm just counting full-time employees that are over there. New City Hall, Jesse's there, the collector's there, the court clerk's there. I mean, you're saying 6 lines, so I'm counting 3. So I'm not, unless they want a 4th one for when, I know you're down there
Library.
a lot too.
Library. Library needs a phone. The City Hall, we didn't know if we got information about the sewage plant tonight, so we can probably cut that one out. We don't need the shed, so we can cut that one out. But we do need, a clerk needs one, a collector needs one, the court clerk needs one, and then the library. So at a bare minimum, it looks like 4.
The collector, city hall, court clerk, and library.
But you only,
5. Library,
Collector, city
city
hall,
clerk,
court
collector,
and library.
court collector.
And fax. They're separate
These,
lines.
the VoIP faxes.
Okay, so that's
Oh,
my
go, yeah,
question.
you had a question.
No, I'm sorry, no, that was my question. I was, would a fax be necessary if you can just digitally send it, you can scan it?
When I
you don't
spoke
need
with Intermedia, they said you don't need a fax line because it will fax for you.
Yeah, so then
Fax
you
line.
won't even need a mobile.
there's a lot of other great using digital fax now where instead of it
That's the one I read.
printing out on your machine, it sends it into an email.
No, this other one doesn't either. The Umala,
Yes, it is. And a lot of people are going to email instead of fax anyway.
Yeah, that's why it's like, it makes more sense, why even have the fax? Go to a digital sender, you can send, it's just like email. It's all coming out of that same
Yes.
internet
Right.
line, instead of having one separate fax.
It's
And like you
absolutely
said, Most businesses now, they operate with this, they scan it, they just send it.
Right.
That's absolutely correct. And with voice over the internet, voice over IP, that's what we would be able to do. I recommend intermediate. In my opinion, intermediate was the best one. This other one also said no contract.
OMA?
Yeah, it said no contract. I wasn't there this time.
Yeah, but they had like a $300 setup fee, didn't they?
When I called Intermedia, they said that it was $30 a month. There's no setup fee except for the $3 if you want to keep the line. There was no contract. It does depend. You do have to have a router, which we have. We have a Cisco router, and we could cancel at any time. And there was an app on the computer that can help you manage it. So here is the services provided, voice services. This was, I think I told them 6 phones. There was no way, I must have told them 4. So for services, it'd be $105.96, and then starting the second month, $99.96. You do have, no, that was the fourth total. The shipping was $45.95. Taxes $8 the first month. After that, $7.40 the second month. Fees each month is $12.04. So first month, including taxes and fees, was $171.95. The second month total, including taxes and fees, is $119.40.
Is that for long distance and local?
It was they said it was unlimited everything. They said unlimited, local, long distance. No. They can't.
I make a motion, we go with that one.
So, and if it turns out that someone wants a contract, we're not going to move forward.
That's true.
We just, I mean, it's we're not going to just do it. If it doesn't add up to being what we thought it was, I mean, we stop and try again.
Mayor, and that was with Intermedia.
Someone needs to make a motion to table it.
All right, I make a motion that we table these different telephone providers until after bills are discussed.
This evening?
This evening.
I'll
Yes.
second that motion.
All right. There's been a motion to, Jesse, can you read back the motion, please?
Robert Collins made a motion to table the phones until bills are discussed this evening.
And it's been seconded. Roll call vote.
Paul Watson,
Yes.
Dave Joseph,
Yes.
Donald Fleming,
Yes.
Ron Timmons,
Yes.
Marlene Blackburn,
Yes.
Robert Thomas,
Yes.
passes 6-0.
All right, moving on to our next item, or do we need a break? Moving on to the next.
I need a break. So I'll take one if somebody else wants it.
5-minute recess.
We hear you, Betty.
It's Facebook.
Oh, boy.
We have 2 options, and the first option.
My name is Teresa Fowler, and I've been living here in Dixon for since 2012. And this recent unpleasantness, one of the questions on the list that you were given was about Facebook, and whether or not, why didn't the city of Dixon have one? So I would like to volunteer my services to make a City of Dixon Facebook page.
Awesome. That would be nice.
I've been looking at Waynesville's Facebook page, and I have a lot of good ideas. And, well, to be truthful, I already made it, but it's not published. And basically what it needs is we'll need someone from the current council to also be on the page with me to post your public notices and stuff like that. One of the main complaints was when we had the little business with the water, not everyone got the notice. I didn't even know about your page until someone else posted it, and I just happened to be saying that. So if we can get Dixon their own Facebook page, then we can start keeping all the notices where they need to be, so customers, citizens can see it. I run Hometown Dixon, Missouri's Facebook page, and I have a lot of connections here in Pulaski County.
Pennsylvania too.
Yeah.
That's great. Maybe someone from Pennsylvania would like to move here when they see our wonderful page.
Well, my husband's from Pennsylvania, so let it go. But, anyway, I'm offering my services to do that.
Okay.
I'm published, it's already set up, almost ready to go. The only thing I will probably need to do is a verification. Either a piece of paper with letterhead saying that I'm allowed to verify this, or a phone number. But if anyone's interested in looking at it, I'm more than happy to bring it over so they can take a look at it.
I think that's wonderful. It would be great to have a Facebook page. I would recommend that the council, in doing a Facebook page, sets forth guidelines for that Facebook page. Social media guidelines, like some of the suggestions, I would say probably comments. I don't know that comments are.
Right, comments can be
They should
either
probably be turned off.
be turned off. I already have it set for strong language.
Yes, so, posts would have to be
Approved by the monitor.
approved, and they would need to, pictures would need to be professional, not anything crazy.
Right.
No whining about your neighbors.
That's, well, but they just said pre-approve, so they would catch it
And I think the idea would be
wouldn't have to see it.
dissemination of information.
And no telling on your neighbors either.
I know.
You know, all that
Let's bring it in, bring
hinky-pinky.
it in. Now, I don't get on Facebook often, but I know that there are several people around here that do, and this could be a benefit to the council. So discussion, comments? Paul, what do you think about it?
I also think that whatever we decide to do with this, that it be updated on like a daily basis, whatever it is, so that it will always current.
Okay.
Because
So
with
there's
me
some.
running home down Dixie, Missouri, I'm constantly on there when I'm not working. And I post the weather, I post stuff from Pulaski County,
local events.
local events, Sheriff's Bureau, I post their stuff on there, anything that's local businesses, they also get free advertising. Like the home plate, Johnson's thing, when they advertise their, half a month, boom, it's on there.
Music in the park?
Now,
Yes.
I will mention this, that if the city does possess a social media page, there are some compliance that it has to meet, specifically record keeping. Any type of, when the city does things, it's got to be kept. So the council needs to keep that in mind, that record keeping is also a part of it.
I've seen a lot of Teresa's work, and she does beautiful work. I'm really proud of her. I've known her for many years, and I've watched her grow in her computer business.
I've been on her page for a couple of years and stuff, and I nothing but good to say about it.
You're gonna make her blush.
No, she does a very good job with moderating. Like when I was looking at stuff for Dixon, what I did notice is I will say there are several different Dixon Facebook pages.
Yes.
There are some outdated pages. And then some of them I would look, I'm like, why is this on here? Like my eyes are burning. Like why is this on here? It just had no business being on there. But hers is, her page itself is very comprehensive. You can understand it. She's a great moderator. She gives a good feedback. And that is definitely something that would help a lot.
Yes.
What's probably going to be in the city's best interest would be, if this is something that they want to move forward, and understand there are other options, so an employee could do it too. As you all hear, that there are some benefits to Teresa's work, and the city, if they do this, it should be probably on an annual, they should be guidelines outlined, and it probably should be renewed on an annual basis. So that guidance is always, so that the limits and guidance is always established.
I do have a question
Go
for
ahead.
Teresa. Are you going to allow, you mentioned earlier about a member of council, are you going to allow for either a moderator or another administrator?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I don't want it to be like the owner or anything like that. I just volunteer. This page is going to be for government business, notices and stuff like that you need to post out, any like emergency stuff that needs to go out. Because it will be, I'm going to say this, anything, once I share it on Hometown, again, I have a lot of readers, not just from Dixon, but surrounding areas, it's going to get hit. by a lot of responses. You know, so there are gonna be some naysayers because, you know, of our council. But yours is, but because I have high standards, and I have high standards for this council, they'll be professional just as, you know, like the city of Waynesville and St. Robert's Bridges. And that's what we need.
That's awfully kind of you to do something.
It is. Thank you for coming here. Teresa and I have been talking on Messenger, and I appreciate you coming. Thanks.
Thank you. To make a motion.
There would need to be a motion to table it, or to make a motion to go with it, and by guidelines, or...
By guidelines, yeah. I would like to
What is
make a
the-
motion to go with her, to Teresa Ballard, in the Facebook page for the city of Dixon, by guidelines that we will enforce and create.
And you would be the council person.
You're only gonna have one moderator. If you have everybody involved in on it, then you got a big mess. People jumping in on it. I think, first of all, we need to decide if we want the Facebook page. And secondly, who we would appoint as the moderator in conjunction with Teresa.
Would you like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion
Okay,
to
wait.
have Teresa do the city of Dixon Facebook.
Okay, there's a motion on the table. Jesse, could you read the motion back?
Page two, need a motion to go with Teresa Ballard for, Facebook page and, guidelines for city Dixon.
It's been seconded, roll call vote.
Paul Watson. Betty Togis.
Yes.
Al Tony.
Yes.
Marilyn Timmons.
Yes.
Colleen Blackburn.
Yes.
Robert Thomas.
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Yes.
And with that being said, would anyone like to volunteer being the council person over this, over our social media? Paul, I think you do a pretty good job.
Is there anybody on council that has their own blog?
Is there anybody on the council that has their own blog?
I don't even know what a blog is.
That would make a good administrator.
We do have a comment from Ernie. Is
Yeah,
that,
I
is that saying, are you saying hi or just comment?
No, I got a question, you know, as far as,
Wait a minute.
with, per se, with her for the page, I mean, I'm not up here all the time, I'm at the plant, but per se, we got something going on Tuesday on 7th Street. Are we gonna be able to use that Facebook page to say that road's gonna be shut down for a certain amount of hours?
I believe so.
As long as you let, you know, you can contact me on the Hometown Dixon Missouri page. Anything that you want on there, I will put on the city paper,
Okay.
this thing. Because that's, that I want us to be more
Right.
visible. If there's construction on High 33, for instance, you know, the citizens want to know about it.
Right.
When they took the railroad bridge out, I posted that on Hometown.
Okay.
So everything that's going on, I try to get to our citizens.
Count.
If nobody objects, I'll be the moderator.
Cool.
That's good, that works.
Thank you, Barbara.
Go, Barbara.
I can get you on Facebook then, friend you?
You sure can.
I think you guys are gonna have to approve some type of guidelines.
And so,
By
okay.
resolution at
So
some point,
so-
look at it, and you can name her in there.
In those guidelines, okay? I believe that this agenda item is finished, and...
Just
Oh, go
a
ahead.
moment, Mayor.
Yep, no problem.
By me voluntarily accepting to be moderator, is that something the council would have to vote on to ensure that all members are okay with that?
I think so, and Jeff had mentioned that to wrap it into our guidelines, so when we do guidelines, wrap
Right.
in who's overseeing, and then here's a list of all of our
And our
guidelines,
resolutions or
voted, yes,
whatever.
voted by the
Okay.
council.
I need to point out something. So that means if something goes on during the day, because I know you're at work, who's ever working at City Hall should also have access to put it on Facebook immediately, or contact her or her to be able to get it on there right away.
And I work out of my home, that's why I said it's
I didn't know
easier
where
for
you worked,
me.
I just needed to work.
I'm on there all
Yeah.
morning
So
until I
she's
go to work.
local.
Okay. Yeah, she's
I'm
really
pretty
local. Yeah.
Are there any other questions as far as Facebook goes? All right, it seems like we've wrapped up this agenda item, and we'll move on to bills. We have an upcoming payroll tomorrow, so we are looking for the council to approve payroll being made. Also, the trash truck is not able to be driven at this point. It needs tires, and an offer was made to the city through Quentin Davis that they could get 6 tires for a total of $13.50.
I think you said 4 tires.
4 tires for $13.50.
Well, you said 225 or 250 apiece.
225.
$2.25 a piece.
We got that sent out like that.
And then we owe our attorneys for last month, and that's $4,000. And we are under contract, and so my recommendation to the council is that they approve to pay payroll, that they approve the tires for the trash truck so they can start picking up trash as soon as the tires are put on, and to pay our city attorney, who's done a wonderful job.
Could I ask a question, please?
Yes.
If we have already contracted WCA for trash, why are you putting new tires on our trash truck?
We still have commercial to take care of.
We still have commercial to take care of, and we still have 2 or 3 weeks. We still have till the 1st to pick up trash.
Okay.
WCA is only for residential, we
They
still have all
does-
the businesses
right.
and
They're not picking
dumpsters.
up commercial.
They'll use it after.
We'll keep it to
I
make-
see.
make
Yes,
a
the
lot.
council-
I didn't realize commercial.
Yeah,
The
this
council
is just
does
for
not-
residential, the
Okay.
WCA.
All right.
Okay, based on what was just told,
That's a great question.
I make a motion that we purchase 4 tires at the price of $225 a piece for the trash truck.
200, how much?
4
Is that
tires,
for 4 or 6?
4 tires at $225 a piece.
Wasn't the trash truck, didn't somebody say it requires 6?
It needs 6.
Okay,
Truck
well, I'm
needs
getting it.
6 tires.
Maintenance, go ahead, Ron.
Truck takes 6 tires.
6
Truck
tires.
takes 6
Are
tires.
they dualies on the back?
Yep. The ones
We
there.
can't get by with 1 good tire on each side?
Nope. No. If you want to come drive it, you
Now
can,
it's
but I
right now
won't
with
drive it.
trash.
I amend my motion to
Hey.
6 tires.
I was wondering the same thing.
Order, please, order.
I amend my motion to purchase 6 tires at the price of $225 a piece for the trash truck.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Jesse, could you read back the motion, please?
Robert Thomas made a motion to purchase 6 tires at $225 a piece for a trash truck.
Okay, and it's been seconded, roll call vote.
Paul Watson,
Yes.
Benny Tilges,
Yes.
Tom Fleming, Ron Timmons,
Yes.
Marlene Blackburn,
Yes.
Robert Thomas. Passes 6-0. I have one question to clarify that if I may.
Go ahead.
Where are we purchasing these tires from?
Okay. The question is where the tire is being purchased from. The offer that was mentioned by Quentin Davis. The tires were out of Lebanon from the, what was the name of the organization?
WW Tire.
WW
You can only get
Tire.
4 out of there.
But we can only get 4 out of that place.
So where are you getting the other 2? What kind of price was Steve giving you?
Steve offered,
Wait a minute.
Yes, go ahead.
Wait a minute. So WW Tires doesn't have 6 of them?
that's where the 4 came from.
They
is
don't have 4.
They don't have 4
We don't
tires
for sure.
for $225.
Well, then that doesn't do any good to get
Yeah,
4,
we're-
we're still lacking 2.
So we'll still have to go with your plan, huh, Barb?
Ron, go ahead.
Steve can get all 6 of them for $1,600.
For $1,600, okay. So Steve can get all 6 of them for
As
6.
opposed to $13.50 at $225 for 6.
They include, they include
Is that mounting them?
1,100 pounds.
Yeah.
That's 266.66.
That's mounting and balancing.
That's mounted on the truck. The truck's at his shop now, waiting to get started.
It's
Well,
not
He was told to
drivable.
order the
cheaper
tires.
to go with Steve's.
It's not
Yeah.
drivable.
It would be cheaper to go with Steve's if he'll mount and balance them.
Yeah, 'cause you're gonna pay that amount anyway to have him put them on.
You have
Put
to
on.
pay them.
He was told Wednesday to go ahead and order the tires.
No, now, let me
We
clarify
told him to
what
order 'em
Quentin said.
Wednesday.
If I recall what Dave said, he said that he would take the tire, the city takes the tires off the trash truck. Quentin himself would take them up to Lebanon, they would mount them up there, and he'd bring them back, they would be reinstalled on the truck. I think that's what Quentin said.
Yeah, but what's the cost to have them
Still keep it
mounted?
in town, doesn't
Oh, Jesse, what's the cost to have those 4 mounted?
All right. Let me,
I've got a
can I
question.
withdraw my motion?
Just amend it. You can make a
Let's
motion to
amend.
it.
Then they get voted on and passed.
Yes?
You can make an amendment.
You did state in the motion who they were gonna be bought from, because he asked at the end.
Have you talked to Jesse? Have you talked to Josh?
Okay, one second, go ahead, sir.
Is the one place here in Dixon?
Yes.
Then that's who you should go with. You keep the money at home. Quit sending it out of town.
No,
Thank you.
if they're gonna cost more though.
No,
it's gonna
not for all he's doing. It's cheap.
Please,
No,
order,
I agree.
order,
I agree
It's
with what
cheap on that.
Order, please.
It'll be cheaper saying, I'm just.
But not if you can't get 6.
Order.
Is it Steve's Tire Center?
Yes.
Yes. I'm in my motion to purchase 6 tires from Steve's Tire Center for the total price of $1,600.
That's what he told us.
$1,600. That includes mounting, balancing, and installation of 6 tires for the trash truck.
Yeah.
There's a, please read back the motion.
We ran into the problem when we were trying to get some sheetrock.
Okay, Barbara Thomas amended her, motion to purchase 6 tires at $1,600
That's
piece for
That's what I
mount
was
and balancing.
No, not a piece.
Anytime you can get it at a reasonable
Order
price at home,
For
They
6
do
tires.
price their
Order,
business
please.
here.
For mounting and balancing, 6 tires for a trash truck
Mounting, balancing, and installation.
and installation.
Okay, it's been seconded, roll call vote.
Paul Watson. Dave Tilges.
Yes.
Donald Fleming.
Yes.
Darrell Timmons. Ronnie Blackburn.
Yes.
Robert Thomas.
Yes.
That's 6-0.
Okay. So going, still on the bills, tomorrow is payroll. And I'm looking for an up or down vote from the council to go ahead and make payroll.
I make a motion to go ahead and pay payroll.
Jesse, please read the motion.
Robert Thomas made a motion to go ahead and pay payroll.
And it's been seconded, roll call vote.
Paul Watson.
Yes.
Dave Tilges.
Yes.
Donald Fleming.
Yes.
Darrell Timmons. Ronnie Blackburn. Robert Thomas.
Yes.
That's 6-0, sir.
And the last thing I'd recommend in bills is to pay our city attorney. We do have a contract that we'll pay.
I make a motion.
I don't think we should pay it. Go ahead, you already got it in motion.
You can please read back the motion.
So we're getting in trouble.
I make the motion to pay the attorney, Jeff Thomas, $4,000.
Donald Fleming made the motion to pay Jeff Thomas $4,000.
That's according to contract.
Contract.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's been seconded, roll call vote.
Paul Watson.
Yes.
Dave Tilges.
Yes.
Donald Fleming.
Yes.
Darrell Timmons.
Yes.
Ronnie Blackburn.
Yes.
Robert Thomas.
I abstain.
Five to 0 with 1 abstain. Passes.
Okay, and that wraps up, unless there's any other further questions, that wraps up all there was for bills. And moving on to the agenda, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Thank you, I forgot that. I know, I need to put, yeah. Go ahead. Marilyn, have an announcement you'd like to make?
Yes, it was I was at Senior Citizens today, and Jake Warren asked me if I'd heard the news. And I said, no, I haven't heard any news regarding our bills or anything. He said, well, I have some good news for you. And I said, please tell me what it is. And he says the city is getting a capital credit check for $5,622, and that money is going to be applied to your electric bill.
Right on.
Awesome.
And who is this that
And he
said
wanted to-
that?
And he wanted to know, he says, are you going to be able to see anybody? I said, I have a meeting tonight and I'll see everybody.
Tell him thank you very much.
I will.
That is great news.
That's awesome, that helps ease the bills a little bit.
Yeah.
Although we need to let you two.
And who was that from?
Jake Warren.
Jake Warren?
Yes. He's on the board
It's the board of what?
of the electric company.
Electric company.
Oh, cool. Cool.
That was
Is
really
he
generous.
the president?
He's the president.
He's the president of the board of the electric company.
Oh. Okay, awesome. And now I think we are ready to move on, okay? Ms. Blackburn would like to speak about flag donation.
Sure.
George?
I'm just gonna stand up here.
Yeah.
Okay, I was speaking to a member of the VFW the other day, actually came by my house, and he wanted to donate for the big flagpole up by the high school, POW MIA flag, and I've got it right here. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that we were getting that.
Okay, cool.
Have you already got the memorial?
Actually, I got some good news about the memorial, too. Troy Porter has been working with the Caring Center, and they have voted on that they are going to allow the memorial to be under their umbrella so that we can start getting donations for the memorial. Oh, and I think, Maria, you asked at the town hall meeting a while back what happened to the sign up there at the property.
Yes.
I took it down because the bottom was so tore up from the wind and what have you. We needed a new one. So
Okay.
just let you know.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Good job, Marty.
Good job, yeah.
Is that a sign up at where the memorial's supposed to go?
Yes.
What kind of sign do you need?
Well, Jason Wadhusky had made us up a sign a few years ago when we first started this. So he has everything
Oh, okay. I was gonna
ready
say,
to go. All I
'cause
have to do is to just go get another one.
okay. Okay.
All right, so, financial statements, anything other than this? We have, this is for July. In July, the city took in $308.05, or excuse me, 50 cents in tax. Water, $18,374.65. In sewer, $14,586. In penalty, $749.86. Am I going too fast?
No.
Okay. There was, in meter deposits, there was $570. In service charge, there was $161.05. In dumpsters, the city brought in $5,462.52. In trash, the city brought in $6,660.85. In personal taxes, this is the park rental, we brought in $622.81. In reconnection fees, we brought in $120. In police, which is the money that's received for the jails, we brought in $6,582.01. For the court, $1,637. In merchant licenses, $4,440.96. There was an adjustment, positive, of $83.26. For miscellaneous charges, the city brought in $6,462.62. So the total amount collected was $32,073.03. The amount in utilities received was $34,750.06. bringing the total to $61,230.06. That's
Penalty for?
penalty. Penalty for paying water late.
Oh, I see, okay.
$749.86. No further questions. The municipal bank, core bank account should have its own account. The money that is received from the court should not be going directly into general revenue. And we need a vote from the council to create a new account so that the court has its own.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were moving right on into this, but I was just wondering, you talked about the revenues, but do you have a report for your expenses for the month, just so you can see what your profit or losses were for the month?
Not
with payroll, no.
No, I just wondered if that was something typically that you showed each month.
We like to, however, currently what we're making is just payroll. And our last couple months we made our bond reserve payment, and that was it. This month will probably just be payroll, paying the city attorney. Hopefully we'll make our bond reserve payment. Yes, go ahead.
On these finances, how long is the city gonna be broke?
I
know it's not your fault.
My crystal ball wasn't really saying.
I mean, is it gonna be 10 years from now, or?
If it works out that what we found with the water meters is true, we're hoping to see $10,000 to $20,000 more a month. And with that, we should be able to start climbing out of debt. Now, please understand that as we swing around the next year, we have several bond payments that absolutely must be paid. Once we get past those bond payments and everything starts leveling out, my guess would be fiscal year 20, the city will probably start making it good with everybody as a whole. And then from then on, we should be hopefully maintaining a budget that is paying for services as we use them and no longer diving ourselves into debt.
She's got a question.
We have, let me turn and give Marlene.
I just have a quick comment. It took us a while to get where we're at. It's gonna take us a little bit to dig back out.
Well, I thought he was real quick with the, dipping into the cookie jar.
Who's he?
The one that you took over for.
Oh. We can't comment on that.
I know you can't.
No comment on that, please.
Did you say $10,000 revenue that you're anticipating on the new meters?
They can be someone else.
If it is true that the meter readers were only capturing 1/13 of the volume passing through, then it's likely that we'll see $10,000 to $20,000.
Okay, so say it's 10 and you've got 7 large users. Do you think those users are really using more than $1,000 a month in water?
On Casey's alone, whenever I was on the council, their bill was like $4,000 a month.
Yeah.
I think that was.
I worked for them.
Schools,
Diane, that was a mistake.
the rehab center, each of those have rooms with water.
I understand the nursing home would, but boy, I just can't imagine. I mean,
It is what it
they
is,
drink,
whatever the
they
reading.
drink water and flush the toilets?
Right,
The nursing homes?
yeah.
They have
No. Aside from the nursing home. I understand that one.
Casey's
But
washes
see,
all the
Casey's-
time.
Yeah.
Casey uses it, they have, there's a lot of washing that goes
Dishwasher.
on. Floor washing that goes on, the toilets that go on, the soda requires water.
So,
All the food prep requires water,
Yeah.
ice, because they do their own ice.
Yeah.
all right, so thank you for the questions. We're gonna move on now back to the municipal court bank account. It needs to be a separate account for the municipal court.
I asked
Jeff,
that
go
be
ahead.
placed on the agenda. We've got 4 ordinances that set out, and we have state statutes to comply with. When we collect every municipal case, we find most of these people end up paying a fine, but they also pay $24.50 in court cost. Amongst that is money that has to be sent to the state courts administrator, money that has to be sent to the police department for police officer training. The ordinances spell out exactly what that money has to be spent on. Some of it goes away from the city, some of it stays in the city, some of it's supposed to go to the PD budget, but,
That needs to
it
be
really needs to be
separated.
its own account, so that money's not going the wrong place.
And Jeff, who would you recommend be the two, or at least two signatures?
One would obviously be the court clerk, and would name somebody by name, but the court clerk, and then,
The city clerk, or,
practical position with the city clerk.
or someone on the council or the mayor.
Yeah.
On all the other counts, myself and the pro tem are on there, but with this one, it would probably be the city clerk and the mayor and the pro tem.
The court clerk.
Court clerk.
And.
So court clerk
mayor and the
signs
pro
it,
tem.
makes it a warrant, mayor or pro tem signs it, making it a check. Check. Would anyone like to make a motion at this time to, go ahead?
I'm gonna move that we make a motion to establish a separate account for the municipal court, whereas the court clerk, will sign it, and then and it will take the mayor or the mayor pro tem in order to check out.
Okay. Jesse, can you read back the, motion,
Charlie
please?
Blackburn, City Smith, made a motion to establish a account for the municipal court with the mayor and the court clerk, and the signatures on that.
Pro tem.
And Mayor Pro Tem, yes. Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay. Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mayor Linda got it first. All right, roll call vote.
Paul Watson,
Yes.
Jenny Turgis,
Yes.
Al Fleming,
Yes.
Darrell Timmons.
Yes.
Charlie Blackburn,
Yes.
Robert Thomas.
Yes.
That's 6-0.
All right, I missed this earlier. The ordinance ratifying and authorizing a contract for the garbage. I'll remind you all that we did sign a contract with WCA. To wrap it up, we need to do the ordinance with it. Would anybody like to make a motion that there would be a first reading of this ordinance?
I'll make the motion.
Robert Thomas makes a motion for first reading, correct?
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been seconded. Roll call vote. Roll.
I would just point out the handwritten notes on the copy of.
I'll point out with that, there are some handwritten notes on this copy, but they will be in print when it's finished. But I will read it, the ordinance as it will be.
Roll call it. Paul Watson?
No.
No. Jenny Turgis,
Yes.
Al Fleming,
Yes.
Darrell Timmons,
Yes.
Charlie Blackburn,
Yes.
Robert Thomas.
Yes.
5-1, passes.
All right, ordinance ratifying and authorizing a contract for garbage and trash collection by and between the City of Dixon and Waste Corporation of Missouri LLC. Whereas the Board of Aldermen have voted to enter into a contract for the collection, transportation, disposal of residential garbage. Be it ordained by the Mayor and the Board of Aldermen of the City of Dixon, Section 1. The agreement attached hereto as Exhibit A, providing for the collection, transportation, disposal of all residential garbage and trash from residential units located within the jurisdictional limits of the city and or any residential unit outside the city limits currently billed for city services of Dixon is hereby approved and made a part hereof. Section 2. The City of Dixon shall charge a $1 administrative fee per month from each residential trash customer for collecting the fees due under the contract. Section 3. The City of Dixon shall open and maintain a bank account for the purposes of collecting and distributing the fees under the contract of this ordinance. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect on the first day of October 2018. Passed this day by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Dixon, Missouri, and approved this blank day of blank 2018. Approved. It has a signature block for the Mayor, City of Dixon, Missouri, and testing by the City Clerk. Is there a motion to read this a second time?
I'll make a motion for a second reading.
There's a motion for a second reading.
Robert Thomas made the motion, Robert Thomas made the motion to have the second reading done on the ordinance.
It's been seconded. Roll call vote.
Paul Watson,
No.
Jenny Turgis,
Yes.
Al Fleming,
Yes.
Darrell Timmons,
Yes.
Charlie Blackburn,
Yes.
Robert Thomas.
Yes.
5-1, passes, sir.
Ordinance ratifying the authorizing a contract for garbage and trash collection by and between the City of Dixon and Waste Corporation of Missouri LLC. Whereas the Board of Aldermen has voted to enter into a contract for the collection, transportation, and disposal of residential garbage. Be it ordained by the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Dixon, Section 1, agreement attached hereto as Exhibit A, providing for the collection, transportation, and disposal of all residential garbage and trash from residential units located within the jurisdictional limits of the city or any residential unit outside the city limits currently built for city services of Dixon is hereby approved and made a part hereof. Section 2, the City of Dixon shall charge a $1 administrative fee per month from each residential trash customer for collecting the fees due under the contract. Section 3, the City of Dixon shall open, maintain a bank account for the purposes of collecting and distributing the fees under the contract of this ordinance. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect on the first day of October 2018. Passed by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Dixon, Missouri, and approved this one day of blank 2018. Approved. Signature block for Mayor, City of Dixon, Missouri. Attested signature block for City Clerk. Is there a motion to pass this ordinance?
I'll make a motion that the ordinance pass.
Jesse, can you read back the?
Robert Thomas made the motion, the ordinance be passed.
It's been seconded. Roll call vote.
Paul Watson.
No.
Ray Tillage.
Yes.
Al Fleming.
Yeah.
Darrell Timmons.
Yes.
Carmen Blackburn.
Yes.
Robert Thomas.
Yes.
5-1, passes, sir.
What is the ordinance number on that, please?
Should be, yours should have ordinance number.
Oh, mine. It's 565, excuse me. The ordinance number was 565.
Mr.
I
Mayor,
apologize about skipping that. Yes, go ahead.
just off the wall, I'm trying to figure out, yeah, I understand why you're putting the tires on the new garbage truck because you have trash that has to be picked up before your new contract. But is the new contract cheaper than the prior?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
works for me.
Much.
When we were going line by line on expenses, we discovered that the city had paid $219,000. It costed the city $219,000 for trash operations. And if we're only making, and remember I read this off.
Yeah.
$6,660. We're paying, the city had to pay a lot of money out of general revenue, about $131,000 to
Understand.
do trash.
Understand.
It looked like it would cost the city $26 per resident for us to do trash. So that is why I think the council understood that we had to do something other than, given the fact that our trash truck will only last so long, we think we'll get some life out of it for commercial now.
The only reason I asked is because you had one council member emphatically saying no. I didn't know if he had a cheaper way.
No.
Would you like this one, or?
In the paper, you said we spent $130,000 on that trash truck. I haven't seen receipts showing that. I'd like to see.
When we went line by, that was based off of the line-by-line itemized expenses that we did.
The most expensive thing I remember spending on that trash truck was a turbo.
It was on the trash services, not the trash truck.
And that's not how it's fixed.
Anyway, there.
All right. We're moving on to, is that the trash truck that you got?
No, this,
Oh.
different. Okay, this right here.
Although we have paid the company to come in and pick up garbage, we still make a substantial.
So I'd like to know who.
There is a more,
year.
there is a fee
Yeah,
for more
that's
trash.
That's okay.
So.
Why didn't they go with somebody local?
David or Mike Watson like to speak to the trash truck?
Maybe it wasn't cheaper.
I spoke to my
Nobody
boss,
offered.
and they didn't ask for it to be on there either.
Okay.
I'm flexible enough to know the
Would
I
any,
own the trash company.
would
I
anybody
am
like to make a
local, I moved
motion
up here.
to
It was never even offered to me.
table this?
I
Oh,
would have done it cheaper.
Well, here's the thing. There ain't no sense in taking it. Because we never asked to be on the agenda.
Okay.
Not Dixon Pilot,
My
they did.
question is,
They
who
put it in
allowed this to
Kansas
be on
City
there?
and
Who
St. Louis
authorized
paper.
Well, it was mentioned to me that
No,
someone
don't.
would like
It has to go in
no
a
one like to
paper.
speak, so.
Did you talk to them?
Trust me, I've got the contract, I've got
Simple
everything.
yes or no?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
I've got a guy right behind me that says he hauls trash, and he wasn't offered anything on it, and he can do it a whole lot cheaper. Say what? Good question.
The question is, why wasn't it put out there for bid?
Yeah, he didn't hear nothing about it.
That's some of the reason why I'm against it.
Okay,
Well, see, I
it's
just
all
asked,
top
and the mayor
secret.
said that, and Jesse said, both said it was posted in the Dixon Pilot.
No, it wasn't.
No, it
I asked
wasn't.
that we do post it in 3 weeks, in 3
It's
different
supposed to be minimum
papers,
3
and I
weeks.
was
That's
told,
the-
no,
that's
we
the
can't do
mandatory
that,
minimum.
we
So
have to
you
go
already
ahead.
had a solution, but you waited until now, so you
Okay.
can
The
bring it
trash,
up now?
we worked on
Is that
that
your plan?
for well over a month and a half.
No,
The
Maria.
contract is
What's the
only for a
plan?
year.
No, it wasn't a plan.
The contract's only for a year. We only had one person come out and bid. We
What
asked-
papers
we
did you
asked-
put it in?
What papers was it put in? It wasn't put in the Dixon Pilot.
No,
Which
no, no.
papers was it put in?
You put in,
And what date?
Waynesville.
Daily Guide?
Daily Guide.
Daily Guide, I think it was. And, then I think we put one in Texas.
That's two. Must be three, right?
No,
You're only
no,
required
it's been on
one.
for 3 weeks.
We put it in two papers outside of Dixon, here, why didn't we not put it in the Dixon paper?
Why did you go to St. Louis or Kansas City?
The mayor called and solicited bids.
We did call and solicit bids.
Bid for
Yeah.
Zig and Dine, I believe, and most of the one in Cryder.
Why didn't you solicit bids from somebody local though?
It was in a public, I mean, we had public meetings about this from both of us. It's for, the contract's for a year, at a year, and it's before the year hits. Was it July that we have to decide?
120 days.
90 days out.
I've got the contract.
90 days out, so the council needs to,
120 days out, 90 days, you have to tell them that they don't have it.
so at that point, the council can take rebids and change or continue services.
But you don't have to take bids. If the city is okay with what they're doing, it don't have to be bid on again until for 5 years.
Well, that would be up to whoever is the council after, the next council. That's up
Right.
to the next council.
But I mean, you gotta put that out there right. It don't have to be bid on.
So it's the next council, if anybody here is on that or out there, they can decide to do it at that time.
Do you read the Dixon paper?
Yeah, I get the Dixon paper. I don't get the Waynesville paper.
All right.
I wasn't
Or the Jeff
allowed to
City
be in the
paper.
Dixon paper.
What, I'm just curious, what trash company are you with?
Lane Sanitation, I own it.
Land sanitation?
Lane.
Lane
Lane.
sanitation?
They've been locally here for 17 years out of Dixon.
And do you provide, trash cans and
Yep.
everything for the residents?
Yep.
What's your fee?
We're not getting into that now. It don't matter, a contract signed.
You
I
already
When the
understand,
signed.
but I'm just curious, what is your fee?
I would have done it for $14.25
$14.25?
a stop. And then I would have also guaranteed not to go after your businesses,
Oh, the dumpsters?
just to help the city out. Which anybody right now can get the businesses.
But
There
why
is
are we
no
discussing
contract
this
for the
when it's supposed to be
businesses.
in closed session?
Right,
Contracts-
Discuss
contracts should be
finances in
enforced.
closed session.
Yeah, contract should be in closed session. Okay. So last item on the agenda
No, that has to be,
is
that's
Stephen
closed
Fleming
session.
wants to address the council. Do you wish to address the council?
And this is just.
Yes, sir. Okay.
We will do the requirements if these two already knew
If you all don't know me, I'm Stephen Fleming, Jesse Fleming's son, Donna Fleming's son. It has come to my attention that certain people in this community have a problem with certain, I don't know if it's the workers in this town or what. Thursday night, I had the city come out, let me correct myself. Thursday night, the city came out and picked up a dumpster that I ordered on Monday. The dumpster, which I was told was needed back before cow days. I said, okay. Josh called me at, I don't know, it was about 8:30, saying he needed to come out and pick up the trash can. I said, okay. I was up. Next thing I know, I'm not going to name any names, because I'm above that. But I want to address it. Does anybody know what stalking is?
Yeah.
Can somebody tell me what the definition of stalking is?
It's
Hiding and watching somebody.
Yeah, it's when somebody's
following you around. They can even, if you're at home, they can take pictures of you while you're minding your own business, unauthorized watching of you.
Yeah, I make
Consistently,
pictures every move.
more than 3 times.
Yeah, they can drive by your place. I think it's only allowed a couple of times, but
Pursue or approach step.
do you have that?
Anybody else? Okay, definition of stalk. Pursue or approach stealthily, harass or persecute with unwanted and obsessive attention. Move silently or threateningly through a place. And the last one don't really abide to this situation here. So, if you have a problem with one of the, or if they're coming up to my house picking up a damn trash can, be man enough to come up to my house and ask why. Or call the daggone PD. They'll come out and they'll check it out. I promise you. I was in the military for 17.5 years. If I had a problem with one of my soldiers, I'd come right directly to them, not to somebody else. And if pictures were taken, I don't care. But I tell you what, if I'm in those pictures, or if any of those workers were in those pictures, that's invasion of privacy.
Yep.
Because that was on my private property.
Whose business is it anyway?
Exactly. And another note about picture taking, it was brought to my attention by my my oldest daughter, which is 15 now, and my youngest son, sorry, 9 years old. All right. On 2 different occasions, they both came up to me and said, "Dad, somebody's taking pictures of us."
Ooh, that's illegal.
Oh, that's not good.
I cannot prove it, but I have made it clear, or I've voiced my concern about it to the right people. And if I see it again, or if I hear about it again, I will take action.
You should already.
I can't prove it.
Can they?
They can't prove it.
Can they point?
There's a difference between it. If a kid comes, I got it. A kid says something, you kind of take it to heart. But you got to have physical proof that they did take a picture of whomever.
They used
They
their
weren't
phone,
on my
it's there.
property, they were on the roadway.
That wouldn't matter.
Okay?
Isn't there something about the law about taking pictures of
Yes,
children that aren't?
it's invasion of privacy regardless.
Not only that, have we got a pedophile?
Good point.
But that is my concern. Thank you for sharing your concern. And that's all I have.
I know you can't walk up to a park and start taking pictures.
Yeah, I can, but I wouldn't show you. Well, I just let y'all know, I think some of that's directed at me. And he's got a sheet right there that's got my name on it, said I was taking pictures at his house. I took no pictures, I wasn't even in that part of town. And at 11:45, that got posted on Facebook, and you think it went all over. I have never took no pictures of you, your family, or anybody.
I did
But
not
your
say
name
that.
is on this paper down here that was not posted at City Hall. And if you want to rat me out and think I did it, you just let me know.
I didn't mention no name.
No, but it's on this. It's on this paper right here. Where's it at?
Please sit down. Please sit down.
Right there.
Oh, on the agenda?
Terry.
I
Okay.
think he has a right.
Because you wanted to address the council.
He needs to calm down and step over here at the podium.
That's not it, Paul.
Mike,
It's
can you
on the very bottom.
Okay.
That's wrong page.
This is getting over. This is getting.
This other page he's looking
It's getting out of
No,
control.
because on the page, my name is on it.
Okay.
He's got a right to complain.
Anybody who
Your
knows
name's
me
just
knows
on
I
that
don't do
agenda, sir.
that.
Please calm down.
That's all it is, it's on an agenda.
I wasn't put up there on the city hall.
It was.
I didn't see it, I went by there, I did not see it.
Char's been hanging on the front door of the PD
Please
for
sit down.
24 hours.
Please sit down.
All I'm telling y'all, I was home, I took no pictures,
Please sit down.
and when we find out who did it, I want an apology from him.
No names are mentioned. Please sit down.
It's on that paper.
Please sit down.
No.
Sprinkle knows about it. I don't have it. Nobody gave me a copy, but I'll find it.
Okay, order. Gary, did you have something you want to say?
I do want to address some of this, and it's, I have been inundated, I guess would be the right word, with allegations back and forth between council members, between citizens, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to make it very clear, and Jeff he can say the same. First thing I want to address is the law has changed on harassment. It's no longer a misdemeanor crime, it is a Class E felony. Okay? So I want to throw air to the wind to keep that in mind. However, I do want to speak on the city of Dixon and their employees. Our employees are our employees. Every one of them have a supervisor that they answer to, not citizens, not city council members. Citizens and city council members have nothing to do with day-to-day operations. They answer to a supervisor. Therefore, approaching them, addressing them, talking about trash cans, trash trucks, whatever it might be, is harassment, a felony crime. I had a meeting with Kevin Hillman just yesterday on this. He is reviewing charges on several people in reference to this. So I would throw out caution to leave the employees alone and let them do their job. Digging up a water main, moving trash cans, none of your business. And I hate to be blunt about it, but we're spending man hours investigating stuff that shouldn't be investigated.
Yep.
They need to be free to do their job and answer to their bosses.
Thank you, Gary.
I just want to let you know, he didn't mention my name, but it's on that paper.
Out of order, out of order.
Hey, make sure they don't cut this out of the video.
Out of order.
Gary, I have a question.
Ma'am.
Our current city ordinance on harassment, isn't it kind of outdated? It needs to include some other things, and I think I talked to you about this.
City ordinance, yes. I was addressing state law on harassment has changed. It is now a felony crime.
Thank you.
Gary, that people.
Please let the employees do their jobs. Two more items and then we're done.
Can I add one more thing to what you just said?
Yes.
I've also seen whenever our city employees were messing with dealing with broken lines or whatever, citizens standing right there at wherever they're digging. That is an accident waiting to happen. Now, our crews need to make sure that there's either a safety net up, and the public, general public needs to.
They have no business on a work site.
And
thank you.
They should be asked to please vacate the area.
Yes.
Quit being nosy.
It's not safe for them.
We have asked you.
I don't
And
want
they
this to go too
won't.
far.
And if they don't, that's when you call the police department and tell them that you've asked these individuals to vacate the premises, that it is a construction site, a dangerous situation. You call the police, they will handle it.
So now can a council member?
No.
No.
You have no
The only
authority outside
you have
this
is when
board
you
meeting,
sit at
sir.
this table. That's
None.
it.
Whenever the city clerk and the mayor called my job. Do you not remember that?
Well, we're not, we're moving on.
Closed session.
Can you please, you have one question and we need to move on.
Oh, my question was just outside of the council, when,
Hold on, Betty, I can't, just one second, please. Just one second, I can't hear you. Maria, please.
my question was outside of the council. When we don't have a meeting, it was just brought up.
Yeah.
Are council members are regular citizens?
They are
Do
citizens.
have any kind of say, so
They're-
just to emphasize this.
Council members have power sitting as a board and that's it.
Okay.
Once this meeting adjourns, the power is invested in the mayor and the city workers to make things happen. Other than that, we have to come back to a meeting, and that's when the council, with their voting power, as a board, is what is the power as a council member. So an individual council member doesn't really have any type of powers, but as a board they do. They have power to, they can impeach, they can pass ordinances, they can make motions, et cetera, et cetera. Okay.
But I want to, for clarification, since I am the finance officer for the council with authority to approve X amount of dollars, I do have
That's true.
workers that come to my home to bring me invoices to get approval for spending. So I do have interaction with the workers in that respect.
That's true, and the board can vote to elect a budget officer, elect a finance officer. They can appoint a clerk, they can appoint a city attorney, they can make a committee. Committees can just be just a committee that looks into things, or the committee could be done by vote, and they can have powers to even have spending powers, or whatever. So, is it quick?
Well, it should
Go ahead,
be.
Betty.
We had sat at this table and discussed, if someone has a problem and calls one of us at any time, even at night, we call another older person, and we go in twos over to check out what the problem is. We sat right here and discussed it and made motion on it. And everybody agreed.
That was regarding the overtime. Emergency situations regarding.
That was regarding overtime and emergency situations.
Yeah. Emergencies.
No, it was.
Yes.
Okay.
I think we need to check into
Emergencies.
We can move on to the minutes. He wasn't. Okay, minutes, moving on, Betty has some
I think
minutes.
that's what it was. If we have an emergency situation, where to call.
That's right, we need to go over and check.
Right.
Two of us go together.
Right, that's if it's an emergency.
That's right.
But we're not just talking about during the day when they're doing their day-to-day job. But you're right, on emergency. On emergency.
All right,
Does
this is,
everybody understand?
Yes.
Thank you.
okay. Jeff, go real quick, and then we're moving on with the agenda. No? Okay, moving on with the agenda.
Go ahead, he's our
Minutes.
attorney.
You wanted to add minutes to the meeting?
Well, yes. And you said that I did not go before anyone. I've tried several times to put myself on the agenda and was told that you would not let that happen. This is over minutes of the meeting. We haven't received any minutes since April until just this past.
Do you all have minutes in your packet?
I said just this last time, we received minutes for the 5th of September. Otherwise, we have received no minutes of the meeting. We're supposed to approve the minutes of every meeting that we've had before we start the next. So, you know, maybe no one knew this, but the old ones. And so I think it's, you know, I've tried to bring it up, so now it's out there. We need the minutes of all the meetings from April to.
And the council members
Just so we
need
know.
the opportunity to review those minutes.
Absolutely.
To ensure that they are thorough enough
Yeah, I agree.
of what was addressed in the prior council meeting. And then, at the next council meeting, to approve the prior minutes of the meeting.
That's right, but we have to have time. And with this amount that we're gonna have to look at, it is going to take some time.
Okay. Okay, I agree.
We do not get any more.
Comment on what?
There's a complete list of the bills that is going to be proposed and the amounts. And we used to get them in a packet along with the other meeting. And we had a chance to go over them and come to the next meeting and read what we were approving. And we knew about the minutes. And we also knew what kind of bills
We
that
could
we're
have two
expected
next
to
week.
look at. We haven't got that since
And they got delivered by.
except today.
Okay, so the delivery stopped,
I said they didn't do a
everyone was
good
supposed to
job
go
of
down
making
there.
I know, yeah, got his asshole beaten dead.
This is after
That
the
way we
fact.
know, just so that we know that they've been received.
Why are they complaining about it? I didn't pay attention the first time, the last 4 years.
This city didn't even know it was broke.
Do you want to email it? Do you want to?
According to them, they got the bill.
Is everybody phone, they need to get their stuff. Email, they can just email, I'm seeing emails, I guess not everyone here uses emails, so if you need it in paper form, they need it picked up. I'll caution you, there has been problems with printing, there's been a lot. And we're gonna get to the point where we're gonna have to buy we're gonna have to buy paper. The city bought paper, what, a year ago? 2 years ago, and we're gonna run out. Are we just gonna buy reams at a time, or are we gonna buy it in bulk to save money? I don't know. But we haven't had that expensive paper, but that's gonna come, and we're making payroll, that's about it. If you remember last time, we had to approve using the Eagle Nest account, borrow from it to make the last payroll.
Use front and back of the paper. Utilize both sides. That cuts down all costs.
So, and two, if they were getting these packets all along before the previous council, why are we so
In debt.
in debt? If, you know, I mean, as far as I see, work's getting done now.
I thought you knew.
This stuff is being emailed, I would
It's
prefer that
ridiculous.
you use emails, but
I was gonna say, I can recall fairly recently, I can recall getting phone calls from Lou telling me, or asking me to come down to City Hall and either view stuff or whatever, so. And I look at my stuff online just like I did last night before this meeting, so.
Yeah, it's all about the work you put into it.
Well, my question is why did it take the former members so long to figure out they weren't getting their billing and their minutes, when they knew they were getting them for the past, how many years?
We knew that we were not getting them.
Well, then,
We have
you know
I
what,
should have brought it up prior to this.
Well, you know what, you had them for the last council you were on, and it, you know, we ended up $200,000 in debt, so either you couldn't read or you weren't looking at it anyway.
Okay, we'll move on to the last item.
We don't want to discuss that.
Order, please. Order. Order, please.
Yes, I'll issue that.
It's a waste of time.
Don't let your blood pressure go up.
It's up.
Yeah, there's no issues.
Don't give them that satisfaction.
Okay, I came to address the city on the status
Okay,
of...
order, please, order.
I came to address the council on the status of the accounts there with the city. As you can see, the $5,600 capital credits were applied, but I was here a few months ago where we talked about a budget billing amount of $7,500 per month. I think I got that in June and in July, did not get it in August and have not got it in September, which would have been due today. So now that budget amount is past due $15,000. So even with your $5,600 capital credits applied, the city is now past due even more than it was before, $20,320.82. And as I sit and listen to your financial situation, I know it's, you know, you're up against a wall. But at the same point, when I hear that we might be being able to dig ourselves out or pay on time somewhere in 2020, that does not sound like something we're going to be able to work with. You know, I said at the time, we want a workable plan. We don't want to be in a position, I mean, it's bad for the residents, it's bad for the businesses, but as you can see here, you can't keep going down, we can't keep allowing this to go down this path. That's bad business, it's bad business for you because you're the members and owners of this cooperative as well. So if we were doing this, you know, across the board for those organizations that get in trouble, you can imagine what state your co-op would be in poor shape. So I guess what I'm asking, one, I wanted to make sure all the council members knew your status.
Secondly, I got the information, I'm gonna talk to our legal counsel, see where we're at with it. I guess my question coming in here tonight was I was gonna ask the city, how prepared are you to pay those two past due budget bill amounts that we'd agreed to, which would be $15,000, that I hear from you that you're struggling to make payroll. So that's just kind of where it's at. That's, you know, I want to have you updated as a group and know. And then also I would say moving forward, I'm glad to hear that Teresa Fowler's going to do a Facebook page so that I'll know when you have your council meetings. Because I would feel better about having an ongoing conversation about this rather than coming up every couple of months and it be this amount. Because I don't want to chase people down for the money either. I don't want to be in that position to do that. But I too answer to a board, and you know, they expect me to run that co-op and that business in a way that is in the best interest of the members. And allowing this to just go on and on without addressing it is not good business.
What's the worst case scenario?
Huh?
Worst case scenario?
Worst case scenario is everything could be turned off, but you lose your water and your sewer through the whole city.
Not only that, but it was mentioned to me that if everything gets turned off, DNR would come in because that would shut down the power, the sewer plant, and people would be required to put in septic tanks and wells, I guess.
Obviously, we don't want to be in this position. We're your co-op. You're our members. It's a shame we're in the position that I'm having to sit here and have this conversation. It's very uncomfortable for my directors. It's very uncomfortable for me.
I know the last time you were here, you gave us some options on how to save on some things, like shut the lights off here and there and whatever.
They had some people come out and take a look at a few different things they could do, but it's so minimal. What's considered non-essential services it's so minimal. I mean, you got the lights at the farm, the lights here. I mean, there's very little that you can shut off. I mean, your bulk of your usage is lift stations. Lift stations, security lights, your city hall. I mean, things that you can't just decide to not utilize, not have electric to. So that's one reason why I asked that question. You've told us about your revenue, what's your expenses. So I can at least get in my head what, you know, what are they working with? And you're not working with much, you know.
And we have a bond payment, interest payment coming out next week.
But what I think, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, I'll ask after.
Well, I think what bothered me, I watched the blogs too, or listened to, you know, what's posted out there, the videos. And I was hearing nothing about our bills, the bill to the co-op the last 2 months, not a thing, and all the workshops or anything. Because I was trying to listen, you know, what are they talking about in that council meeting? Are they talking about what's due us? Where are we saying? And I found nothing. I mean, I wouldn't hear anything. So it was like, I know there's always pressing things, and I know you're really, you know, you're trying to stomp out fires. But we weren't mentioned at all. And I thought, this is a large amount that just keeps building. And so I wanted to come tonight to make sure I'm back up in the forefront, that you understand the urgency of it, of the amount it's getting to, and we're failing to make any payment at all for 2 months. Just keeps, $5,000 is great, you know, for the capital credits. But had you made those 2 payments, and that $5,000 was applied, instead of $20,000 past due, you'd be about $5,000 past due. And when you're doing that, you're making $7,500 a month payments, $500 times 10, about $5,000. You'd be looking at maybe getting it done in a year or so. But when you skip $7,500 at a time, $5,000 capital credits is good, but you're worse off than you were when you started this time.
Right.
So.
Do you have a history of all of our payments from, like, basically when things started going awry?
Well, yeah, I mean, we can go back and look at every payment. I mean, I'm not sure exactly, what would you say, we can go back 2001 or 2, probably easily on this system, 16 years worth of payments that we can tell you which one.
I would too.
Okay.
So would everybody.
Yeah, I'm very interested in that.
Request that. What do I need to send the clerk by and request it?
Yeah, just let us know, we can print that out pretty quick, screen
Well,
prints.
it sounds like everyone would like to see it, so.
But anyway, that's why I came tonight, is just to say that, you know, it's in the situation it's in. Of course, we want to work with you, but I want to make sure everybody understood.
I think, Mike, and jump in if you, over the last couple of months, you said we haven't been talking about it, and that is correct. I think our main focus has been on the bonds. It's that.
Well, our payroll declined, so we did what we were able to do at the time, and then we see in this declining declining revenues, we started investigating, and that's where we found out that, hey, the water meters were installed wrong several years ago. And for whatever reason, things declining more now. I don't understand why. I mean, other than the water meters, for example, I read off July and water was 18,000, except when you go back and look at June, it was 25,000. I mean, that's a huge decrease. And so,
the point is that we're stopping at fires,
Yeah, we're
just
stopping
like you
at
said,
fires.
and we don't mean to ignore by no means, but
the city has to, the main focus of the city is to get to where it can manage itself. So it should be making, well, you're making bonds, bond payments, payroll, insurance, electricity. So just the standard to keep the city alive, we've got to meet that point, which in my estimation, I think we need to be about 75. And we're coming in about 60, 65, 61 in July. So it's just, we're just coming in too low. So that's why there's a huge hope that this fix that we found, we hope that it's true what they're telling us, and we're able to see a large increase in revenue, and then we can get back to where, okay, we're good. Because the city monthly maintenance does include electricity. It includes our bonds, payroll, all those things. Everything else we'll have to get to. But we do have to get to the point where we are making what it takes to maintain the city, we are making that every single month.
To sustain ourselves.
To sustain ourselves, and electricity is part of that. It is, if we had it, I know this council would approve paying it. I wish we could. And it is important, and that is part of the plan. The plan is get us first to where we can sustain ourselves, and then start paying back. And understand that doesn't necessarily push Gascasage to 2020.
Well,
because
that's right, and we can't, because, I mean, they've been very patient with us. And let's just be honest, if they shut the power down, we all go home. It's over, it's done, the city
And
is
it's
done.
not a matter of us being understanding or anything else, it's a matter of business.
Exactly.
And the matter of business is you're just falling farther and farther behind. I understand your dilemma, but at the same time, it's a matter of business. And it's your co-op that we're looking out for.
And it's unfortunate that this disaster, years in the making, can't be fixed overnight. But people are working hard. I didn't know that the water meters are wrong, but there have been people that come to me that said that, yeah, they did know the water meters were wrong, but you don't wake a sleeping dog. Well, you know, that leaves you with, go ahead, Jeff.
At some point, somebody's water bill went from $2,000 to $200 a month, and they never said anything about it. And it wasn't just one person, one business.
I've got a question. I'm sorry. You know how much the bills are because someone shows you them, right?
Well, we have a stack of bills.
Okay, but you get to see them. Do the aldermen get to see them?
They're always available down at the office.
I didn't ask that. I don't care about available. Do they get to see them? Do you put it out in print?
If they go out down there and see it, yeah, they get to see it. I
Okay.
can go down there and request to see it.
All
I
right.
know what you're saying.
Oh, no,
We
no,
should-
no. You
yeah.
have no idea what I'm getting to.
Oh, okay, go ahead. I'll let you
Whenever,
finish.
okay,
What?
can I answer your question, or?
Yes, please.
Okay, so when, most of the time, it's not every time, when there's an Excel sheet which lists every single bill. Also, when we have that, there's a binder with every single bill that can be pulled at any time that the council person can ask for. At any given time, they can go down to the office, and I know some do, they go down there and they look at the bills.
Thank you for answering that very clearly. Now, aldermen, you are to represent the citizens in your ward, correct?
Sometimes.
Excuse me.
No, I'm getting to a good point, because I'm going to point a finger. Every one of you wanted to take this office to represent the citizens in your ward. How have you represented them? The city is broke. Did you do your job?
No.
Honestly, I'm not pointing fingers yet, but I'm going to. Ask yourself, have you done your job the way it's supposed to be done? And all of you, you have not. You let your citizens that you said, oh, vote for me because I'll do a good job there. But you didn't.
You can't blame it all on us.
Yes I can.
No, you cannot.
Because the citizens aren't privy to everything you're supposed to be privy to. You got appointed to the office, not us. We did not run, you did. You gave us your word in your campaign that you would protect your ward. You would represent your ward. I'm a ward member. I voted for you. You let me down. You don't feel bad.
Who let us down?
If you don't like what
No.
they're doing, if you don't like what they're doing, then why don't you
I
run for the
might,
office?
but just hold up.
Let's not let this stall. Please finish.
That man there took over a job no one else wanted. I'm not putting you down on that, Betty. You did your best you could. I understand you was thrown into the pot. Okay? I'm not upset about this. But all I'm saying is this. Don't let him get by with putting his fingers in the cookie jar and hiding everything from you. He has to answer to you. He may not think it, but he does. And when he does something illegal, you call an investigation on it.
Wait a minute, who are you talking about doing something illegal?
Who do you replace?
Sean.
He ain't done nothing illegal. The old council's the one that got this mess in. He walked into a $200,000 debt.
I know he did.
And he's been trying. How many damn meetings you been to?
Oh, 4.
No, I'm sorry.
4.
How many meetings have you been to? How many workshops have you been to?
All right, guys, this is like, there's nothing gonna come from this right now. This is not the time and place.
Order, please.
I'm just saying, if you do something illegal, even though you know you're doing it, but you're gonna hide it.
What is he doing illegal?
I didn't say he was.
She's
I
referring
didn't refer to him.
What he's saying is, he's just saying it.
Well, I basically just wanted to address this, make sure, bring it to the forefront. I don't know when you have your budget meetings and things, but I would really appreciate if you take a look at this and see what you're gonna be able to do. Something. I mean, this is not working. So I need a plan now for where we're at. I need to quit, because we can't just keep setting it on the back burner.
That's
So,
it.
that's what I asked of the council.
Thank you for addressing this.
Thank you for allowing me to address you. Did everybody get a copy?
Yes.
Okay.
With that being said, that's the last item of our agenda. Does anyone like to make a motion?
I think they do.
Oh, wait.
They got a little twisted.
I'm mayor now, has not done nothing wrong.
I'm never sure it's
Okay.
Order, please. Order, please. Okay, we tabled the phones. Would anyone like to table that to later? Would they like to, would you all like to?
We can table it for later, right?
Yeah. We got a meeting next week to finalize this budget, and we can move the telephones to that.
What day is that going to be?
That's it.
I would recommend that we do it Monday. Monday or Tuesday.
I am ready for that.
Oh, how many days do you need for the budget?
I need at least 2 days to put all this.
So we're talking Wednesday or Thursday next week.
Thursday is really bad, because I have I run for my work to another week to go over here.
Okay, so we're looking.
Free snacks.
So we have this item remaining. The motion to be made to table it to the next meeting.
I'll make a motion that we table it.
I second it.
Okay, do you read the motion?
Just on the phone, is that correct?
Yes.
Thomas made the motion to table the phone till next meeting, and second, right?
All right, roll call vote.
Oh, yes.
Paul Watson,
Yes.
Dave Joseph,
Yes.
Ron Fleming,
Yes.
People keep voting
Carol
in.
Simmons, Arlene Blackburn,
Yes.
Robert Thomas.
Yes.
That's a 6-0, sir.
All right, that ends our agenda. Is there a motion to move into closed session?
Make a motion.
No,
to move
no,
into
wait, can I
closed
have the
session.
platform for just 3 minutes? 3 minutes? Can I have the platform for 3 minutes? I won't say anything derogatory. I just
Not
want
on
to
the
say
agenda.
something helpful.
There's a
Got a
mo,
motion.
there's a,
No.
let me put you on the next agenda.
No, I'd like to say it tonight.
Would anyone like to hear it?
I'd like to.
What's that? There's a motion on the table.
You can always amend that motion
It's
to
been second.
pull it back.
Does anyone want to pull back that motion? Jesse, motion to go into closed session?
Paul Watson,
Motion to go into closed session, yes.
Dave Joseph,
Yes.
Ron Fleming, Ron Simmons,
Yes.
Arlene Blackburn,
Yes.
Robert Thomas. Robert Thomas.
Yes.
9:30 PM, closed session.
5-minute recess.